Hey everyone, and welcome to the third episode of the Trifecta podcast. Here I am with my two co-hosts, Jordan and Alex.
Hey, what's up, everyone?
Hey everyone.
And today we have a little bit of topics to cover. We obviously don't have an update to go over this week. One topic we want to talk about today is just Jagex has been really going lightly on their updates. Now, I know they have this giant combat rework thing coming out and everything like that, but they really are neglecting, first of all, this month and just the average Tuesday updates that they have. Now, they've been saying a lot about, in past months that they want to have a quest every month at least, and they want to make an update every Tuesday, and they have been doing that, but for the past 2 or 3 months, they really haven't been delivering on what they say. We haven't had a quest in a while. I know we got one for the Queen by Dragon, which that was our one quest of that, but then 2 months before that, we had no quests or anything like that. And this month in specific, we have no quest. We've got nothing really to look forward to. We've got this Crucible thing that we, have to look forward to, I guess, but that's only if you're really a PKer. It's not really for people who skill or just play the game normally. And then also, once I said you don't have any quests, and then we have nothing to look forward to this Tuesday either. I mean, they have been updating a lot of things on Wednesday and putting out a lot of content on Wednesdays, and they just really have been neglecting what they originally said they would give us for update-wise.
Yeah, Jagex, I wasn't here, like you said, they haven't done updates in the last 3 or so months. I was actually in the Army, and so I wasn't here for 2 of those. But when I got back, I did notice there was kind of a gap from, previous, updates and everything. And now I'm starting to see a trend of, like you were saying. And, they have a lot of big updates they're working on, that's for sure. So, personally, I'm cutting them kind of some slack, but I hope this doesn't maintain, a current, wave always. It's always every other Wednesday. Because then it's going to get to the point where no updates.
Right, exactly. That's not what we want.
Obviously. Yeah, I kind of missed the flow where I could look forward to an update every Tuesday and then make a video on it or whatever, because that's what I used to do before I'd quit before. And then now it's I don't even know if there's going to be an update. I don't know what to, how to prepare myself for that. And I think it's kind of a bad move on their part, but they are working on this combat thing, and we should cut them a bit of a slack at least.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, we're gonna cut them some slack, and we're gonna give them a little bit of the benefit of the doubt this month at least. I mean, like I said, this is a no update month, and I said that last podcast, and we have really nothing to look forward to. But I mean, I guess the combat rework we kind of have something, but I'm of course not looking forward to it because I am not really one for change, especially in the department of the game that I actually love to play. And, that's just something I have to say about that. But anyways, we're going to go into the combat rework. As we said, it's a giant update, and they have been releasing a little bit of information every week or every day on it.
Quite a bit of information.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. A lot of information has been put out on it, but, I mean, it's not too much to give it away or, they haven't given us, a lot of images. They gave us, that video one time. But right now we're going to talk about this forum post that Mower Dread put out. I don't know how to say his name, actually. But Mod Wrath and Mod Pi answer some questions about the combat rework that's going on. And it actually starts with him just saying, that Jagex talks combat evolution in anticipation of the evolution of combat. Jagex has been releasing information to the public about the upcoming update because we all want to know, etc. And it lists a bunch of questions that we've asked and we are all considering. And the first one mainly being the changes to special attacks. And yes, they're removing special attacks from the game, meaning your god swords are not going to be useful. They will be better in the sense of fighting. They will be useful in the sense of fighting, but they will not have the special attacks that you originally bought them for. Your claws will not have the special it had. The enhanced Excalibur will not have the special it had. All of that will be changed, and they're going to have set effects that, permanently go into it. And they're going to have these small and large weapons, which I really don't understand fully to a point right now. But, right now they said that they're going to be small and large weapons, which I'm pretty sure Dragon Claws are a small weapon. And, AGS and Granite Maul and all those other big items, like two-handed swords and everything, are under large weapons. So I'm really not sure what's going on with that. But they have released some information saying that the 4 God Swords will be effectively the same in the new system. They will have the same stats as each other, so the only difference between them will be cosmetic. So that means that's why BGSs have been rising recently, because they're all going to be relatively the same.
However, each of them will be able to activate each other's special attack, granted you have the correct level to do so.
Right.
Personally, I don't like that, because that makes every weapon, basically, everyone's going to go to the cheapest weapon.
Right.
Back in the day, if you had claws, you were a badass.
No doubt.
No one fucked with you.
Right.
But now you can just go buy a 16k Dragon Dagger and hit as good as claws will, since they'll both be a small considered weapon.
Right.
Well, here's the thing they're trying to touch on, though, is that like the claws special attack will only be able to be activated by certain types of weapons, so that weapon values and boss monster drops don't lose their value. So the Dragon Dagger would only be able to activate like a certain amount of special attacks within like its range, like say the Dragon Mace or the Dragon Longsword. Special attacks that are towards the same tier of that do towards the same amount of effect. Now I don't know what it's gonna look like when you're doing a D long spec with DDS.
Right. And that's also why Dragon Two-Handers are going up, because apparently the Dragon Two-Hander will be able to activate the Armadyl Godsword special and stuff like that. So that's why that has shot up in price as well.
And one thing I'm really curious on, and I really want to test this out. Like, I'm so freaking anxious for this update. I want to see if Chaotix can have access to these special attacks.
That's what I think. I don't know if they're gonna have tier weapons. They haven't really said anything about that. But if they do have different tier weapons, then I would consider Dragon and all those Godswords being like a tier 1, and then Chaotix being in their own tier 2. But according to the special thing, like everyone's asking what a recover special is going to do, are those going to be useless, whatever, those are going to be changed into something. So I'm going to say that when an ability is activated, say you use the AGS ability, and your ability needs a cooldown time, I think that when you drink a recover special, which will probably be like a recover cooldown or something like that, I don't know what it'll be called, but it will actually increase the rate of your cooldown, or make the cooldown rate less so you can use it more.
That's probably what it'll do, but they're trying to hide something about the cooldown time. I'm not entirely sure what that is. You have any idea?
Right, I'm not sure if they're going to like fully have a cooldown system. Like I'm sure they don't want to copy World of Warcraft exactly, or any of the other games like Diablo 3 or anything else.
Mana and whatnot. Yeah.
Right, they don't want to incorporate all of that into the game or change anything like that. So I'm pretty sure they're gonna have a little bit of a different cooldown system than everyone thinks. But as we say, we don't know anything about it yet. They haven't released any information on the particular cooldown system.
But it is good that they did assure us that the special recovers are going to have some use, because I made a shit ton of those.
Yeah, I have a bunch.
Right. Anyone with 99 Herblore pretty much made at least 1,000 of them, which I have 1,000 in my bank, and those would probably be a waste of space. I'd drop them right now if they were guaranteed to not have an ability or any use. So, and also, like, people are wondering about the Enhanced Excalibur. What is that going to do? The E special will be depleted. It's not going to be there anymore, but players who train their constitution or defense will have new access to the abilities that can heal them in different ways. So if you have 99 HP, I'm pretty sure that the EE special is going to be the same as normal. It's going to be the same thing. It's going to heal you over time and etc. like that. So
one thing that I'm curious about that is what kind of weapon class do you have to be wielding to do an Enhanced Excalibur spec?
Right, I'd say, like, I don't know, like, that'd be pretty cool if you had a Dragon Longsword and you could do the Enhanced Excalibur spec.
Like, in mid-fight, too, like you're just, you use your DDS and you're like, oh shit, I need a little bit more HP, and then you activate Enhanced Excalibur. Man, that could be interesting.
Right, yeah, that could definitely be an advantage or a one-up in a fight, especially if you did the Camelot, thing and got the Enhanced Excalibur, like, the good one, the really good one, so...
And they are saying that they're increasing the stats on certain weapons that are special attack based, like claws and Enhanced Excalibur.
Right.
And then that way that those weapons aren't completely useless to get.
Right, and also they're degrading the armor actual like bonuses on the actual armor sets, which is kind of, they said that the weapons are going to be like worse because they lost their special, but they're going to make them better at, like, bonus wise, and they're going to be able to hit more on these armors. Obviously every armor is going to give a new like life point boost, Bronze obviously being the least and Torva obviously being the most. And I don't know what really the armors are going to do. Like, if they decrease the bonuses on them, I
don't know if they're completely decreasing them, or if they're... Oh, does it say that they're just completely decreasing them, or...
It says that they're going to be reworking the armors, and they're going to be changing the bonuses on them.
So you think that they're going to lower the defense on the armors?
Yes, at least a little bit.
I think I got a different interpretation of that. From what we all read the same thing, but what I interpreted from it, they're gonna, since they're, all the weapons are losing their little abilities, I think they're making up the armor better for that, because, all these weapons are gonna be overpowered right now, because they're gonna have all the same special.
The abilities, right.
And so they're adding all these life points to all these armors, so I don't know how that's gonna affect next armors. That's why that's crashing.
Right.
Well, actually, it's going back up.
Now it is, because the economy is retarded.
Well, we'll get into that later.
Yeah.
And so I think they're going to rework the armor to be actually better in defense.
Okay. So you think that the editing is not going to be decreased, yet it's going to be increased?
Yes, to make up for all the specials going away.
Right.
Yeah. And one thing they're trying to do is increase the amount of time in a fight, because they're just trying to get away from, dying to a lucky Rambo AGS 700, to being able to one-hit a player. I think they're trying to steer away from that.
They want more skill involved instead of just, oh, look, I'm going to equip my 30 mil sword and click the special attack and you're dead. They want to actually have more skill and long things. That's why they made the Royal Crossbow, because that's decent in longer fights, and that's why they want to incorporate that and new weapons and armor that they're incorporating within the game from boss drops. They're going to probably have like an armor that as you fight more, the defense bonus goes up or something crazy like that. So
yeah, they do have, because this does give potential for a lot more things with the special attack thing, and I'm sure that you can't like just continuously keep specking like say you use a BGS spec which now uses 100%. I'm sure you can't go and use another AGS spec like right afterwards.
Right, the abilities are definitely going to need some time within using them.
So you think that the time effects are going to transfer between certain abilities?
Yes, absolutely. Like if you're going to be using a DDS spec, obviously if you just have all of this stuff equipped, you're not going to be able to switch weapons and change a new ability and use that right away. And otherwise, you can kill people faster than you do now. And that's not how they want to do it. It's probably going to be a cooldown for that whole section. I said there's going to be a whole section of, say, like large or small weapon things, and when you use one, that whole section has to actually reboost. So.
And they say that we are going to be able to hit more damage than we currently do, and that it will affect Slayer in the fact that we kill monsters faster than we do now.
Right, and which is also bad, because they also said that they're going to lower the XP rates on the monsters that are given, because apparently you could train Slayer faster than you do now. So they're going to be lowering the XP you actually get from the monsters, which is not good in my opinion. I think they should just keep it, because even if it's a little fast...
What I think they should do is actually just raise the HP per the monster, right? And then that way, you're getting the same 200, kill 200 of these, but you're still killing the 200 Dark Beast, and it's still taking you the same amount of time, and you're still getting the XP instead of, lowering the XP. I don't know how that's going to work, because, I mean, people go up to higher Slayer Masters just so that they can, have a longer task, right?
Right, and I mean, Jordan's someone who doesn't have 99 Slayer yet, so this is going to impact him from training and his standpoint. So, Jordan, what do you think about the Slayer?
Personally, I'm excited for it because they said it's going to be faster.
Right. But that's like, once again, like we train Slayer where you can AFK a task. Like I could take out my cannon at Dagonoth and let it just spin and put on auto retail, and I'll finish the task in within 3 minutes. But they're going to say as you AFK more, the less XP you'll get. So you have to really pay attention and really stay focused in order to get the maximum XP you can.
And I'm absolutely fine with that as long as I get my XP faster.
Right.
Slayer's it's probably the slowest skill now since RuneSpan.
Yeah. That and agility are pretty close, but I would say Slayer, depending if you don't cannon all your tasks.
Right. Yeah. No, and that's what I did for 99.
And another update that is going to happen in the combat rework, which I am freaking stoked about, is they are reworking all the potions and they're allowing overloads and extremes in the wilderness.
In the wilderness, yeah. Wow, that's definitely going to be a big up to whoever has 96 Herblore, which will probably make Herblore be more expensive to get. Ooh. Since now all the peers are going to be like, oh, now I need to get 99 Herblore, I want the overloads in the wilderness, I want to be good.
So if you want a guild tip of the day, get 99 Herblore now.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. All right, yeah, but Herblore in the wild, so they're finally doing that. Are we going to be able to use, special recovs as well, like all the potions and whatnot?
That's what I think is going to be incorporated. You know how they said that special recoveries are going to get their effect changed, so they're probably going to be like cooldown, whatever, and you're probably going to be able to use those in the wilderness as well. I wouldn't see why not.
Yeah, right. And their reasoning for this is saying that we've had, our Herblore's been part of the combat system for quite some time now, and that people have had time to, train it up, and we should be allowed to use these kind of potions in the wild. So I'm wondering if that's going to be like a disputable thing amongst players who don't have Herblore.
Right. I don't think that anyone's going to really complain about that, because obviously if you have that, you should be able to use it against your opponents. Obviously, nowadays everyone's more rich than they used to be back then, so 99 Herblore was a difficult task. Now it's really not that much. It's now more of a common 99. So true. I really don't think there's going to be a lot of dispute about that. Pures obviously are going to have a little bit of say into it, because obviously the rich mains who are giving money to their pures, which I know that's not allowed, but it happens anyway. So any rich main can give their pure 200 mil, get 99 Herblore, and have a giant advantage over most of the pures.
Which they will.
Yes, absolutely.
And as far as pures go, there's a big change with that, because now defense is a way more useful skill according to this forum post.
Right.
having armor and the life points boost as well as the defensive abilities is going to be a real big part in combat when you're not able to wear the certain amount of armor and your HP is, like way under, like you're a freaking pest control prod against your opponent.
Right. Obviously, even just having a rune set when it increases your HP is going to be more helpful than having one defense with iron armor. You're not going to have as much. You're going to have a lot less HP than your opponent. Say if you're versing a 40 defense peer and you're a 1 defense peer, it's going to be pretty tough to kill anyone with that life point boost and the defense boost that they have. So.
And so now I wonder if they're going to make it, if there's going to be like a way to make a pure now, like including like you get up to a certain defense level and like it's now the best to be 73 defense.
Right, yeah. It's going to be very different. You're going to see a lot of pures evolve with this update. You're going to see a lot of pures obviously have herb lore because now you can do overloads in the wilderness. You're going to see a lot of pures with more defense. You're going to see more range tanks, I think, with probably the royal crossbow for longer fights. You're going to see a lot of different things. You're going to see the wilderness actually transform before your own eyes. You're going to see the wilderness is going to change for, I don't know, the better or worse yet. Obviously, we haven't seen this yet, but it's going to be extremely different than what it is right now.
And as we all know, combat is a big part of this game. It's pretty much, I would say, 85% of this game.
Right.
And a lot of people, like me, make their money by staking. And you're kind of curious of how this is going to
with all the special
develop
effects
within the new combat. And yes, they are reworking staking.
Right.
So we can still do boxing and everything.
Like the same old boxing.
Which sucks.
But it's going to be, the new combat rework. So don't panic. Staking will still be around. They're not getting rid of it.
No, yeah, they're just changing it. Boxing's going nowhere. They said that clearly. They said, don't worry, boxing is not going anywhere. They said, something what I thought is something to actually think about is that the whip vine, which is 85 attack to equip to your, whip and use it on your whip, and a chaotic rapier, say, is 80 attack to wield. Now, I think that, according to what they said, the higher the armor or higher the weapon or whatever level it is, the better it will be. So I don't know if the whip vine will be better than the chaotic, but like I said, with the whole tier thing, if the chaotics are a tier 2 weapon and a whip vine is a tier 1 weapon, then obviously the tier 2 weapon will probably be better. So I'm not really sure what to think of that yet, but that's something to put into consideration that whip vines might actually be good. So if I were you, I'd just bank a whip vine just in the slight chance it is better than a chaotic. So.
And Lee, could you go a little bit more in depth about that tier theory that you have right here?
Well, yeah, my tier theory is just that there's going to be, I don't know if there's going to be 3 tiers. I don't know if they're going to make a better weapon than chaotics, yet. But as of right now, I think there's going to be 2 tiers. And how everyone's saying is that the tier 1, it will be like a dragon dagger, a dragon mace, a dragon longsword, rune weapons, anything in that kind of category. And then the tier 2, I would say, is more of like chaotics. I'm not sure if God Swords will be thrown in tier 2 or tier 1 or anything like that. Obviously, this is just a theory. This has not been confirmed. I just solely think that there's going to be a tier 1 and a tier 2. Because there's no way that you can have a chaotic rapier and be doing dragon long specials and dragon mace specials, and I think it's going to be 2 different things that 2 different abilities that you have set to your different tiers. So I'm not really sure what's going to go on with that, but that's what I think. I think that the lower level weapons and the not so good weapons will be thrown into tier 1, and then they can use that certain amount of abilities, and then I think that tier 2 is going to contain the chaotic weapons and anything like that, and it will be better within fighting, just because tier 2 is going to obviously be better, just like loyalty auras, the tier 4 auras are better than the tier 1 auras. So
right. And a big thing they're getting at now with including the new weapons and stuff they're adding like player classes or player roles rather, where they're bringing back the traditional tanking that you would go to a boss and you'd have a tank and a main person doing damage and
right.
With mage range, etc.
Melee DPS, range DPS, tanking, etc.
And so the armor setups they're bringing out or updating rather are going to affect how well you can tank a boss and your opponents can take damage, and they actually have a defensive ability I read that you can have the boss focus on you rather than the rest of your teammates.
Right, which is awesome for bossing and PvM in my eyes, because I think that that's a big feature, that something that RuneScape really does lack in the department of boss fighting, is that there's no way to just be like, obviously you can solo bosses, which is a pretty cool concept of RuneScape, that you can solo, the QBD, you can solo Bandos if you want, you can solo Armadillo, obviously WooX has soloed everything in the game, from a goblin to whatever the hell he wants, and that's pretty cool. And I know in World of Warcraft you can't really solo the best boss. You need at least like 15 people. But we don't have that boss where you need at least 15 people, or you don't need a designated tank, or you don't need something. You can do every boss by yourself. And that's what I think something lacks about RuneScape, is that they should have a boss fight where you say you need a party. Like, say how you join a dungeoneering party. And just like kind of your friend's chat where you join loot share or coin share, but I think you should be able to join a party together and go say to Bandos and have a set tank, and you have someone who's doing mage. I mean, obviously mage on Bandos isn't that great, but you could have someone doing mage, you could have someone doing melee DPS, and you have just this giant team that can you could focus on your different sets. So someone doesn't have to bring all the food. Someone could just bring a bunch of weapons or a bunch of like specials or potions or something to help with tanking and give them to the tanker, and then you have your own stuff you have to worry about. So I think that's going to be pretty cool to see PVM kind of change within our eyes. Yeah. So I think that's a good, a leap in the, one step in the right direction by, being able to focus bosses on yourself and tanking and having a set tank, because we need bigger boss fights where you need at least 15 people. You don't need 3 people. I mean, even next you can duo. So that's, what kind of challenge is that when you want something that's huge with, you want someone, I have more fun with team boss fights. So it would be more interesting to see me and 5 friends go and try to tackle the hardest boss in the game.
And like you said earlier, we're talking about Bandos and maging. Something they're also touching up on is the rebalancing between NPCs and the player, and they're making it to where magic is effective against melee bosses.
Right, they're going to have different weaknesses and different, weak points, and they're going to make a really, obviously the weaker the boss is to something, the more damage you're going to do, and they're going to stress that. They're going to have a little thing on the side. They already said that when you're fighting something on the sidebar, it's going to tell you what the boss is weak to, so you can prepare before or after and just, have the right setup so you can kill it the most efficient way.
Like y'all are saying, y'all are, all happy about that. I'm not.
Ooh.
I don't like the idea of combat even changing. I'm anti it. 100%.
Oh, well, absolutely. I mean, I'm against it as well. Like I said, I'm not looking forward to change. I like how the game is right now. I think if the game stayed this way for the rest of the thing, obviously there's some changes, like if you remove the flower game and you remove some of the gambling games and you remove me losing a lot of money at the duel arena and such like that, I'm pretty sure I would like the game a little bit more. But I'm just saying, as it stands right now with how it is, if they just kept adding better stuff into the game and not changing something that's really not needed to be changed, then I think it'd be more successful. And I don't like change very much, like I said. I like the game how it is right now. So obviously they're just trying to attract new players and say, hey, our combat system's not dead anymore, PKing's not shit anymore, come try our game again, we have a whole new combat system. And that's what they're really doing. It's not towards the higher level players. We get shit on all the time, so I don't know why they would do anything for us, but it's just, I don't like change, like I said, and just like Jordan said, he doesn't like change and he's not looking forward to it. I'm just trying to make, the light at the end of the tunnel shine a little bit better, have something to look forward to other than look at the whole downside of this, change. I kind of want to find a bright side to this change, and even though I'm not happy about it, I have to support some things, so.
I mean, I just don't want this game to be like World of Warcraft.
Right.
I'm just dreading it's going to turn into it, and I do not want that.
I'm sure no one does, and especially if it does change to that kind of game, the prices are going to change, and that's going to steer a lot of people away from RuneScape and head them to games like World of Warcraft, which are better graphics, obviously, because, I think the graphics on RuneScape are amazing, because considering no one really considers that Java is such a small operating system, and it's not small. I don't know anything about computer programming, so don't quote me on any of this, but it's not as big as obviously what Blizzard runs their shit on, and they can do so much more with graphics and stuff. But Java, it's amazing how RuneScape is run by Java, and all this coding is in here, and there's so much amazing things that you don't really take note of in RuneScape. So I think the graphics are phenomenal in RuneScape, and I actually enjoy them more than the World of Warcraft graphics. But obviously, to any gamer's eyes, the World of Warcraft graphics or Diablo 3 graphics are much better. So,
Do you have anything else you want to touch up on in regards to the update itself?
I mean, there's really no more things to talk about. If you guys want to check out anything else that we haven't touched up on, or you want to read more about this combat rework, we'll post the forum link and the forum post into the description. It's going to be a straight link to the services.runescape.com forum post, so you don't have to worry about key logs or anything. We would never do that to you. We're just going to post it right there. We'll even put the quick find code in case you're not comfortable with clicking a link. So we'll put that all in the description for you so you guys can check out the post for yourself. And that's pretty much all our opinions on it. Obviously, we don't want any changes, but it's going to be pretty cool regardless. It's going to be cool to see all the things change, like bossing and PKing and fighting in general. So we'll see how it actually ends up. It's going to be probably 2 weeks from now, because next week will probably be the Crucible, and in 2 weeks will probably be the combat beta thing. That's, I think they said June 26th. So We're going to expect that then. And obviously we'll do a podcast on that after we all try it and give our opinions on it once again. And that's pretty much it. So look into that forum post, read more on yourself, and let us know what your opinions are on this and what you think of this, and if you're excited for it or you're not happy for it. So just let us know. But anyways, moving on, we are going to tell you about the prices of armor and the current panic in all of this nonsense in the GE and World 2. Me and Jordan actually had a good experience, not really good, but a bad experience with this price dropping, and all of this nonsense. Obviously, everyone is panicking right now because the combat rework is coming out. Oh no, all of the armors are going to shit. Nothing's going to work anymore. Everything's going to be terrible. Sell everything. Torva's going to be the next bronze armor. Sell everything. So that's what everyone's thinking in their heads right now. And everyone's selling their Bandos, their Torva, their Pernix, their Virtus, their Divine Spirit Shield. Everything crashed. Now, here's just an example. Full Torva was worth a lot. And then it was actually worth, let's say, I think it was 440 mil at one point that it went down to, and Divine Spirit Shield was 500 mil and went down to 430, 420. I mean, things have been dropping like crazy, and people have been hoarding the armors because they're so cheap that they're actually selling their rares, which is making Party Hats drop, which is making Santa's drop. Santa's dropped from like 106 mil to 77 mil. I bought one for 76 mil because I knew it was going to go back up. And it actually is about 92 mil as of this podcast right now. So I made a little bit of money on that, which is pretty nice. But everyone's panic selling their rares so that they could buy the armors, which is making them go down more because everyone's panicking and more people are buying them. And it's nuts. It's absolutely insane that the prices are going bonkers because of this update. Listen, guys, first of all, before you go and sell your armors or panic, I mean, obviously we're a little late on that because stuff is going back up now. But just listen, they're not changing the items to where they're going to be shit. Torva's still going to be the best melee armor. Pernix is still going to be the best range armor. Divine is still going to be the best spirit shield. All of this stuff is going to be the best still. So don't worry, your Dragon Claws aren't going to go to fucking 2GP and they're not going to have no desirability. They're going to have their own set effect that's going to make, it's called the flurry effect, which will hit 4 times or whatever. Same with the DDS. So it's going to have a purpose. So don't go and sell your stuff. Keep it. Don't worry about it. It's going to be the same. They're reworking combat, not reworking items. They're changing items a little bit, but they're not killing every item. So don't panic. But Jordan, tell them about your story about buying and selling things this past weekend.
All right, so I had a lot of fun this weekend. If y'all don't know, I posted a video of an idea, and I did show y'all a party hat of mine. And I got that really lucky because, I got a lot of cash just from staking. And, at this time, this is when people started to panic. And I took huge advantage, which I think a lot of people did. Because right now, in my previous video, I had a yellow party hat and I now have a green. Because people started panic selling. And this was a really bad thing because these items you can't get back and they will never change. So of course they're going to rise. And, I was thinking, because I always sold the party hat back for a little bit of profit because it would keep crashing. And I was flipping it and I was flipping it. So I bought Torva and Virtus and all that. But, I realized that armor is going to go back up along with party hats. So which one do I really want? And so I ended up getting the party hat and keeping it. So now I have a green party hat.
Right.
And I have no intentions of selling it because everyone wants a party hat. It's just a goal. If you played RuneScape way back in the day, if you had a party hat, you were king because you have a crown.
Well, not all the way back in the day, because back in the day they were free and they were dropped by, people had 400 of them, but after they were actually removed from the game, that's when people really wanted them. So.
Yeah, and so I've had a lot of fun with the crashing, but a lot of items crashed for no reason. Right. I was PMing Lee and I was like, dude, I don't know what happened because the first day this happened, I lost. Was it 80 mil off full Pernix?
Yeah, you bought full Pernix for no reason, actually, because you weren't doing any bossy. You're going for your max cape, and you just had full Pernix, and then the next day it dropped like 60 mil, and you were like, man, I just lost 60 mil, what the hell is going on? And you were pretty upset, and obviously I would be upset too, because you just lost 60 mil for having something in your bank, but, what are you going to do? Obviously everyone's panicking, and prices are going to crash.
So, yeah, this update did take a big toll on every item, because they all had like a chain to each other. But like Lee says, don't sell your stuff. It's not changing.
Right.
I mean, if you were lucky like me, then you got a party hat. Congrats, keep it. Because right now everything is spiking up ridiculously.
Yeah, purples were as low as like 710 mil. So you probably picked one up if you had that price range. Obviously I didn't because I am not in that wealthy category. But if I did have 710 mil, I would have bought a purple immediately. So obviously anyone who saw it would have bought it.
Actually, the lowest purple party hat I got was 636 mil.
636 mil, wow, that's crazy.
And get this, before I got my green, which was today, I had my yellow yesterday, and I ended up selling it 5 mil profit for 725 mil. And I logged on this morning, and it was 770.
Wow, that's pretty crazy that something is, rising that much after it drops so much. It's because everyone's panicking and they're realizing that it's stupid because rares are going to go back up, armors are going to go back up, nothing's going to change within itself. They're all going to be the same item after this update. So That's pretty crazy. Alex, do you have any interpretation of this price range going up and down?
Yeah, actually, it's pretty crazy. I just bought myself a pair of Steadfast boots, and
Big spender, big spender. Watch out, guys.
Steadfast boots. All right,
Oh,
Step up into Kmart, buy all the things.
and so I just these boots are so freaking expensive, right? Well, I mean, okay, for boots, you gotta give me some slack here, right?
Yeah,
all right.
All right, so there's some expensive boots, like the most expensive boots in the game, right? And they're typically like 40 mil, 30 mil. I bought them for 24, I think, and they are right now 36, 38. I don't know. I made some good money off of that.
Right. I mean, when you buy those, obviously they're the best boots in the game, but not by much. +1 difference between
I know.
100 KD boots. But obviously everyone wants the best gear in the game, so Steadfast are obviously ideal. But obviously, like you said, it's better to spend 24 mil on them than 40 mil on them. You don't want a 40 mil pair of boots when you could have them for 24 mil. And also, you made a little bit of money in case you don't want to keep them. So that's a pretty good investment. And obviously, I picked up a pair as well because, once again, try to make money on all the things while they're crashing. And that's about it. So that's what we had to say about the prices of armor and stuff. Obviously, all of you were probably wondering, why is my Santa hat 70 mil now, not 100? Oh, I'll sell it because it's going to go down to 30 mil. You know, just relax. All your items are going to be the same. Don't sell them. Just keep them. Hold on to everything. You'll be fine. It's not the end of the world. So anyways, moving on. Now we are up to the Twitter shoutouts, and we've got I think 5 shoutouts in total that we've got. So we'll first start off with the first Twitter shoutout, and it was by @MRVoteTJ, so it's Mr. VoteTJ, and he said, I made a Twitter account just for this page. I just wanted to say that you're doing a great job and keep these podcasts up, which thank you so much, dude, because that's dude. Awesome that you actually just made a Twitter account just to follow our podcast. So thank you so much because that's such a cool thing. So I'm glad you made a Twitter. I hope you enjoy it, and I'm glad you're with us on this podcast.
Thanks a lot, man.
Next, we've got a message from @Badoodle Jr. He said, wow, these podcasts are the best. Can't stop listening to you guys. Thanks for making me laugh from the start of the video. You're welcome. I hope we have some stupid jokes that made you laugh today.
What did we say in the beginning?
Yeah, exactly. I hope when Jordan and Alex last podcast said yo and sup, you guys laughed immediately because they were so informal. So
hey,
I was proud of that.
I hope
there is nothing wrong with saying yo and sup.
I don't know, unless you want to rob them after the podcast.
Hey man, we're getting a little racist now.
Our last a little 50 Cent before the podcast.
Our third Twitter shout out from @CowKill666. He said, awesome podcast, and Alex didn't seem as nervous this time. In Alex's defense, he says he was a little cold, but
get out of here.
I think
it's always the cold, isn't it?
He's talking to a real celebrity, Jordan.
Oh, so come on, man.
You got @Nerd of Gaming. He said the podcasts are coming out great. Makes questing and skilling more entertaining. I'm glad you're listening to it while skilling, not wasting XP, and making time fly a little bit faster. That's what we're here for.
Yep.
Yeah, that's great. The idea of the podcast was for y'all to, just click, minimize and just listen to us, and that's why we don't have any. Oh, all right. Here's something I want to explain. We don't have anything playing because this is meant for you just to listen.
This is a podcast. Originally is a radio show, which is an hour radio show. So a podcast meaning there's nothing to watch because it's just strictly for listening. It's for you to sit back, relax, not have to force yourself to watch anything. Obviously, you guys said it would be interesting, but first of all, one thing, if I recorded 1 hour worth of footage, it also, 1, takes up a lot of space, 2, would take triple or quadruple the time of rendering, and it would probably not be able to, I'd have to record it Monday and able to post it Thursday. So it would be a lot of work, and it's not just the fact that it's a lot of work. Obviously, I put all the effort and all the time into my videos, but that's just something that's unneeded. You don't have to see me cutting wood for an hour because you can just stare at the piece of picture of the Trifecta podcast, and that's just the same. That's why we have no background image, because this is a podcast just for you to listen to while you get XP and you have topics to listen to. So.
And now we'll take a commercial break. And we're back.
And now we have the last thing. We had this person on the last podcast as well. They said, would like to know where would you want RuneFest held at. It was by @DJ Anita RZ. And our opinion on this, for me at least, I want RuneFest to be held in New York. Obviously, you all know I live on Long Island, which is right off of New York, and I want to go to RuneFest extremely bad. I'm gonna go if it's in London one day. Not this year, probably maybe next year. But I'm really hoping that this year it's in New York so I can go and I can have a great time and I can meet all of you great people that watch my videos. So.
Me, I want it in New York as well. for 2 reasons. I always wanted to see New York, and I don't have to pay a hotel. I can just stay with Lee.
Exactly. Everyone's welcome at my house. We can have a giant Project X party. We'll just don't hurt my cat or paint him, and
Someone
don't.
bring the gnome.
Do you have a problem with painting your cat?
Yeah, if you paint my cat, I'll probably kill you.
Oh, no, but like, why paint your cat though? Like,
Because they painted the dog in Project X.
oh,
They painted the dog and put him in the oven. That poor dog probably died after the shoot.
Probably.
Oh,
But
man.
yeah, in Project X they went crazy. But
It
just
just ruined my night, man.
don't drive my Camaro into my pool. Don't paint my cat. Don't break my windows.
Don't
destroy
paint my
house.
cat.
Don't be a crazy guy with a flamethrower, and then we can have a Project X party at my house. So just be cool about that.
So no one move. Just everyone stay
Yeah,
put.
just when you come here, grab a water bottle and just stay in place. Do not move. You can fill up the whole house, but just don't move. Okay, I'll blast the AC so you're not all hot, but just don't freaking move. Okay, you don't move I'll break your fingers if you move a single molecule. If you pick up anything in my house,
Definitely,
I will punch you in the face. Especially you, Alex. If you're at my house, I will kill
man.
you.
Hey, man. No. Come at me, bro.
Anyways, moving on. Thank you for your responses. Remember to follow us at Trifecta Podcast. We need more people to follow us, more people to ask us questions so we can feature you guys on the podcast. And that is all for that. So don't forget to follow us on Twitter. All the information is in the description. So moving on, we are going to talk about the topic of the week. And this topic of the week comes from boxmaniamyourpackage. Now, that's a great username because I still don't know what it means, and it's
Can
long.
you say that again? One more time.
Boxman,
Like the Smosh
am-
Box Man?
your package. Or it could mean Boxmania, my our package, which I think it's not that one because that doesn't sound very right. So I think it's Boxman, I am your package. It's not Boxmania.
Are those Smosh lyrics?
It could be. I don't know. I mean, we'll ask. So if you're watching this, Korag or Boxman, I am your package. If that is a Smosh lyric, let us know. But his topic of the week was, what are your opinions on noob capes, quote unquote, like woodcutting or fletching? Do you feel as more people get 99 in a skill, the cape value drops as well? Which this is a great question, and I'm going to start it off by saying that the 99 or skill cape that you get is worth whatever the time you put into it and the effort you put into it. Now, everyone thinks 99 fletching is such a noob cape, but to me, it's a really great cape, and the reason why is I got my fletching cape before skill capes came out. I got 99 fletching before skill capes. I had to go to World 2. I had to buy 10k U longbows on strong or 10k U logs. I had to cut them myself. I had to string them myself. I bought 10k bowstrings. There was no string all. I had to put all the effort. It took me 3 weeks to get 99 from 70, and that's ridiculous now because you can get 70 to 99 in 2 days with broad arrows. So that 99 fletching is not a noob cape to me. It's something that I worked really hard on, and it just really, is a great achievement. It's something that means a lot to me. So regardless of if the cape is newbie or not, I think that it means a lot to the owner. It's, obviously beauty is in the eye of the beholder. So if you put a lot of effort into something, or you put a lot of hard work, or you put some dedication, or you really love this skill, then that's a priceless skill cape. That's, there's nothing newbie about it. I mean, obviously there's a lot of those capes in the game, but you can't really let that affect your personal accomplishment.
Alright, and to touch on that, in 2005, I had 21 mil runecraft experience. Alright, I was runecrafting with all like Zezma and what was his name? He was the second rank player. What's his name?
Yogo-san, Nova Life.
Nova Life and the Old Knight.
The Old Knight, okay.
Oh.
Yeah, there we go. The Old Knight. Now I was runecrafting with all of them. And I had 21 mil, and I think I got to like rank 18 in runecrafting total, which is crazy.
Yeah.
And when skill capes came out, I was one of the first people to have it, and runecrafting was it. That was my first 99, and it was so cool to have a skill cape back then. Every skill cape is cool.
Oh, absolutely.
Even to this day, I don't care what you say,
right?
Because that marks that you have completed, that one skill out of 25, and that's an accomplishment. Each 99 is not to be degraded. There are faster methods. There are AFK methods. But don't go around and be like, hey, oh, look at that fletching cape. Oh, you're a piece of shit.
Right, you suck.
No, he's one step closer to getting a completionist.
Right.
And that is amazing because everyone should have a completionist cape. And eventually a lot more people will. Because it still is a relatively new cape. And each skill cape that you get is one step forward.
Yep.
And so I think each cape is not newbie. I think it is a step forward into a better progressive main account.
Yeah, I like that, and I would like to touch up on some of the stuff that Lee said. Like you said, each skill cape and accomplishment is something that you put into it, and if you go and you get 99 wood cutting off of Ivy, just to get it or whatever, then it might not be worth as much to you than if you go and chop U logs to make money, and you remember all those times where you're sitting there slaving away at the tree, and you're just like, oh god, I want this skill cape so bad. And I mean, that's how it used to be, and then now it's just like, oh, let me go grab a Coke, I'll be back when I have another 10k XP. But but I mean, it really is what you put into it and how you value that cape. Like my construction cape, I had to click so many times to get that, and I'll wear that thing all the time. And I mean, versus say other skill capes, like recently got cooking because I have to get it, and it doesn't mean anything to me because I sat there and I got it in like 4 or 5 days.
Absolutely.
But stuff like that, and if you put work into it, then it should be of value to you.
Yeah, I mean, anything you put time into, regardless of what it is, even if it's just like an 80 skill. I know you guys, I know the topic is, a skill case, but if you get 80 rune crafting, back when, before RuneSpan, when it was hard, when you got 9k experience an hour, or 15, whatever it was when you made nature runes, getting 80 or 90 in the skill, let alone, is an accomplishment you should be proud of, and it's not newbie at all. And obviously, the more people that get it, the less value your cape will be, but not personally. Obviously, globally, it'll be less because 150,000 people have 99 fletching or whatever. But you're one of the people who, just like me, like I said, fletching in my eyes, I'll never forget, my first 99 before skill capes, before you got anything for it. You just did it to max out a skill. And I got fletching from, like I said, buying 10k U-logs because that's all I could afford, 10k bowstrings because that's all I can afford. And I would cut every U-log and then I would string them myself. I would have to click one by one, and I'll never forget, that's probably why I'm pretty good at, like, shooter games like Call of Duty, and my trigger finger's good because I was clicking non-stop about fletching and everything like that. So it really did make me like grind out the skill and really earn that 99, and I'll never forget those moments. And that's why fletching is special to me, and that's why I have 99 fletching I think twice already in XP wise. I have like 31 mil XP, so I love that skill. And just like I said, anything you put a bunch of time into, anything you take the effort and the time and just all your money, if you dedicate yourself that much, that cape should be special to you regardless, even if 120,000 people have it.
Yeah. And like you said, if you're going to set a goal for yourself, no matter what it is, even if it is 80 rune crafting or any level, 70 plus in all skills, anything like that, if you're setting a goal for yourself and you accomplish that goal, that's going to have value to you no matter what it is.
Right.
Yeah, and as Lee was saying, back then 80 runecraft was crazy. I was 99 before skill capes. And, now that RuneSpan comes out, you're getting 2 mil XP a day rather than, the 30k I got that day,
Right.
And I look at my experience, I think all that, slaving clicking I did of running back to the fucking Abyss guy to repair my pouches. And I don't even think they had pouches back then for a little bit.
No, not for a while, yeah.
And so just think of that. I would sit down and be like, wow, I should take advantage of this RuneSpan.
Right.
Because I don't want anyone to go through what I did. It was horrible. But I did it because I love the skill.
Right.
Because
and you don't regret it.
No one wanted to do it. I don't regret getting any of the experience I did from old school. You just, Lee loves his fletching because, he did it within 3 weeks. And, in my video, I showed you me getting 4 mil XP in one day.
Right, exactly.
So,
and that's why
I only got fletching a little bit less than him. But, I guess I can't say this, but me and him both suffered through rune crafting since we both got 99 before RuneSpan.
Yeah.
So he knows what I'm talking about. And, I don't wear my rune crafting cape because everyone goes, oh, hey, McGill, I guess you RuneSpan. Nice, good job.
Right, which brings me on another rant. Which brings me on another rant is when I wear my completionist cape or if I wear my max cape or whatever. If I wear that cape, people go, oh, wow, how many effigies did you open for that? Or how many squeal spins did you buy? And I'm really like, that's very arrogant for someone to say. It's just like, they're degrading the value of something I worked my whole entire RuneScape career on. Like, no, I didn't open all my effigies for this. I of course I used some effigies. You did too, probably, from you asking this question. You probably did all the same things I did. I mean, I took advantage of what's, there. I mean, obviously, I had, I got screwed out of opportunities like broad arrows now, and I had to fletch my own shit. And cooking, before monkfish or rocktail tutorials came out, I had to cook, lobsters and swordfish.
Training Slayer with, a super strength and a super attack.
And a whip,
Yeah, dude, I did that all the way, 100%.
Right. Exactly, and people, don't realize, they're like, oh, how many effigies did you open? Yeah, but I mean, I might have opened effigies because that's there for me. I'm not going to just let that sit there and, I'm not going to not use something just because, oh, it's not honorable. No, it's in the game. You have to use it for a reason. I mean, they're there for a purpose, for you to use them, for you to level up with, for you to help you through the skills you don't really enjoy doing. And I didn't camp at effigies. I mean, I did some cave crawlers every now and then to help with rune crafting because obviously it was harder than, grinding, say, fletching or cooking. But I did that because I just wanted a break. It was more fun for me to train combat and get runecrafting up than actually runecraft. And then I would go and runecraft. I would do all this stuff. But it's just really arrogant for someone to just sit there and go, oh, wow, nice completion escape. How many spins did you buy? I didn't buy any spins. I didn't camp, effigies. And I earned this. I got this myself. What's wrong with you?
Right.
Exactly. So don't be going around thinking that everyone bought spins, and did all that crap. Just don't. Some people, like Lee, he worked hard for it. Props. But don't assume everyone is, a buy-in XP or,
right.
or effigy or like. Okay, you can say Suomi, but he's just badass.
Well, yeah, no matter what he's doing or what he uses, he's getting the most XP he can, and if I was going for 5 billion XP, I would do the same exact fucking thing.
It's cool, that you got it with effigies. You did what was smart, but don't be insulting people with it.
Yeah. But anyways, that's really all for this podcast. Obviously, it's a little shorter than normal because obviously there was no update we had to really talk about. We didn't really get much to talk about. We just kind of extended our talk about the combat rework, and we talked about some other things that we thought were important, like the price range change and all of the other little things we nipped at in this podcast. But anyways, that's pretty much all for this podcast. I hope you guys tune in for the next one, which will be next Thursday, and I hope you guys enjoyed listening to this while you played RuneScape. So we'll talk to you in the next one, guys. Later, everyone.
Bye.